Hey, truth seekers. Thanks for dropping in. Christianity claims that Jesus was born of a virgin. The claim is non-debatable doctrine, an article of faith. Jesus was declared God by early church fathers, and gods do not enter the world in common ways. They get special birth circumstances. The Gospels, however, do not fully support the claim of virgin birth. Tradition, as understood by recent discoveries in archaeology and scholarship, don't support it either. In Matthew 1:23, we learn of virgin birth. Behold, the virgin shall be with child. In the verse, the unknown author, I call him Matthew, drew from an Old Testament passage, Isaiah 7:11, where a young woman of marriageable age is prophesied to give birth to a son as a sign that certain military victories will be forthcoming. The verse in Isaiah has nothing to do with the coming of a Messiah. In making this claim, Matthew relied on the Septuagint, the BC 2nd century Greek version of the Hebrew Bible. In the translation from Hebrew to Greek, the Hebrew word of young woman of marriageable age, Alma, was translated to Parthenos, the Greek word for virgin. Now there's a Hebrew word for virgin. It is Bethulah. If Isaiah had meant virgin, he would have written Bethulah, not Alma. The mistranslation is known as the Alma-Bethulah controversy and has long been a lightning rod in the virgin birth debate. In spite of the controversy, Christianity strongly defends Matthew's claim on the basis that he was divinely inspired to write what he wrote. The Gospel of Luke also references a virgin birth, but having been written after Matthew, it has a copycat stigma attached. Mark, the first Gospel written, and John, the last, know nothing of a virgin birth. The assertion that divine inspiration caused the author of Matthew to write what he wrote has issues, for it ignores the possibility that the authors of Mark and John were divinely inspired to not write what they didn't write. The door of divine intervention swings both ways. Even with the virgin claim, Matthew leaves footprints to suggest that something is amiss in Jesus' birth. Matthew's genealogy connects Jesus to King David. The lineage includes the name of 4 women, 5 including Mary. This inclusion would normally be taboo in first century Jewish practice, as women were not considered as genetic contributors to the baby. Women were carriers and nothing more. Matthew, he's definitely a Jew, would have known better than break a long-standing tradition. Clearly, including women was a conscious decision. Moreover, the 4 women are not very nice women. The 4 in question are Tamar, Rahab, Ruth, and Bathsheba. Bathsheba is not named per se, but is identified as the wife of Uriah. Tamar disguises herself as a prostitute and using trickery has sex with Judah. It's in Genesis chapter 38. Rahab assisted the Israelites in capturing Jericho. She is described as a harlot and spared in the onslaught by displaying a red cord in her window. Joshua 2. Some scholars contend that the red cord is the root of what came to be the red light, which is associated with prostitution in modern times. Ruth uncovers the feet of the sleeping Boaz and asked him to spread his cloak over her. Ezekiel chapter 16. Bathsheba, wife of Uriah, became pregnant by King David. David arranged to have Uriah killed, whereupon he and Bathsheba were married. That's in 2 Samuel chapter 11. Matthew's lineage ends by saying that Jacob, the second to the last male in the lineup, fathered Joseph, who is mentioned as the husband of Mary. Mary, in turn, is identified as the mother of Jesus. It's clear. Joseph is not Jesus' father. Mary was, it was written, found with child through the Holy Spirit. Matthew 1, chapter 18, or verse 18. The words through the Holy Spirit don't necessarily exclude sexual intercourse. They could mean non-human involvement in consummating conception with whatever it was she had sexual intercourse with. Non-human involvement in the context that the one being born from the non-human realm is primary in parental selection is fundamental to the concept of reincarnation. But still the question stares us down. Why is Mary listed in the company of such fast women? Is there an impropriety lurking in the background? There was speculation in the early church that Mary was raped by a Roman soldier. The soldier was supposedly named Panthera, sometimes mentioned as Pantera. Archaeological finds confirm that the name Panthera was used in the 1st century, particularly by Roman soldiers. Interest grew when in 1859 a grave marker for Roman soldier Tiberius Julius Pantera was discovered. Pantera would have been about 20 years old at the time of Jesus' conception. His home base was Sidon, a famous city in antiquity near what is now the Israel-Lebanon border in northern Galilee, and about 20 miles from another famous city, Tyre. Mark 7:24 tells us that Jesus once visited the district of Tyre, where he entered a house but wanted no one to know about it. Now there's an interesting bit of information. Why would Mark point that out? Was Jesus trying to hide something? And what was he doing in Tyre in the first place? Its predominantly Gentile population was definitely outside the Jewish scope of his ministry. 2nd century Greek philosopher Celsus claimed that he had written proof that Jesus was the son of a Roman soldier named Pantera. Origen, a 2nd century theologian, acknowledges the tradition but claims it was a story that was concocted in order to deny virgin birth. The 4th century apologist Athanasius also knows the story, but said that Pantera was a nickname for Joseph's father. The Pantera tradition all shows up in the Jewish Talmud, with reference to a healer making healings in the name of Yeshu ben Pantera, meaning son of Pantera. Now, this usage is in no way derogatory. It suggests that Jesus, son of Pantera, may have been a common way of referring to Jesus in his time. Now, take all this at face value, the Bible mistranslation, Mary's association with women of dubious character, the Pantera tradition, and Jesus' strange foray into an off-the-beaten-path district where he entered a home but didn't want anyone to know about it. If all that's placed before an impartial jury, would likely lead to a verdict that Jesus' birth certificate would read, Father Unknown. But resurrection, we now know, is the natural way of departing the planet and is within the capacity of every one of us. By removing the resurrection miracle claim, we can look upon Mary in a totally different light. Here I invite you to read my blogs on Rainbow Body, Resurrection, and Gospel of Thomas. By removing the virgin label from Mary, we can now stop adoring her as someone with special connections with the corner office and begin emulating her as the extraordinary human that she is. The Bible tells us precious little about her, ostensibly making emulation difficult. But we rest in the knowledge that the apple never falls far from the tree. Thus, when we emulate Jesus, we emulate her as well. She is my rock and has been hanging around my neck for as long as I can remember, gently guiding and persistently advising. She can be your rock too, if you want. For more of Christianity's dirty little secrets, check out my book. It is available at all major booksellers. Thanks for watching. Hit the subscribe button if you like what you see. In the meantime, I'll catch you later.